Hi, I'm Jason from StrataGames. Today we're playing some more Pauper. This is Jund Wildfire, a list that is one of my favorite decks, but it got hit by the ban. No Deadly Dispute in the list anymore, which means that we had to make some changes. This is the list that I've been playing. This is the, I believe, exact 75 of Walker735, who has been pioneering the list for a while now, and it feels very, very good. A lot of people were worried the deck would fall off after the ban. It doesn't seem like it's showing as much prevalence, and some people are saying it's kind of fallen off. But the deck just still seems really powerful. I picked it up for the first time in a month today. Already got 2 4-1s, both of which were looking like trophies. And, you know, I threw a little bit or got a little unlucky. But the deck still seems really solid. In fact, I was going to bring one of those as a replay to show you because I liked a lot of the games in it. And then discovered that M2GO has had replays turned off for the past month and a half. So that's not going to happen. So I guess I will just play a league and hopefully get a similar record. So, the deck doesn't look too dissimilar to what it used to. I have it broken out into these 6 groups that roughly tell you what the deck is. It's kind of clean 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. We actually did go up to 21 lands, so it's a little bit less. There's 11 cards in this pile and 9 in this one. But essentially, we have our 21 lands now, 10 of which are artifact lands, 8 of which are the bridges so that we can hit with Cleansing Wildfires, a bunch of basics for our Twisted Landscape and our Wildfires, and now a one of Bojuka Bog. There's a lot of graveyard decks running around, and I had been feeling in this deck previously that 20 lands was just a little bit too low. I was mulliganing pretty aggressively a lot, so I like the addition of the extra land here. Then we have 10 artifacts, various utility, Ichor Wellspring, 2 Lembas, 2 Nile Spellbomb, 2 Blood Fountain. Then we have our draw 2s. Cleansing Wildfire essentially gets you 2 cards because it gets a land and then a draw card. 4 Fanatical Offering, replacing the Deadly Disputes, and 2 Eviscerator's Insight. Then we have our Interaction Suite, Makeshift Munitions, 3 Cast Down, 3 Quark Clan Shaman, 2 Toxin Analysis. And then we have our creatures, 4 Refurb, 4 Writhing Chrysalis, and 2 Nyxborn Hydra. And then our sideboard, we got 3 Duress for any combo or control matchups, Breath Weapon for Go Wide, 4 Red Blasts, or I have a Pyroblast in here because I just happen to have 3 Red Blasts, and Red Blasts are really expensive, so getting a 4th to make it uniform is like 15 tickets or something outrageous. Then we have 4 Weather the Storm, 4 Burn is Not Dead, and then 2 Troublemaker Oof for any artifact matchups. So let's jump into a league and see how we do. All right, this hand looks solid. No green mana, and not as much card draw as I would like, but we have lands, we have some interaction, an early-ish creature. I'm not too upset about it. Drostforge Bridge, so it could be the Mirror, or could be Rakdos Affinity, are the main 2 now that play Drostforge Bridge. Great Furnace makes me think Affinity. Prophetic Prism also makes me think Affinity. Cleansing Wildfire is a great draw. I kind of want to blow up their Furnace with it. They probably run a basic, though, a Swamp. And we really need to hit our green land. This is also going to make it so we can Chrysalis next turn if we want. So we're definitely going for our own, but always sad when I don't get to Cleansing Wildfire an opposing artifact land. Non-bridge artifact land, that is. They start with a Refurb. A little annoying, but I don't think we care about Cast Down too much in this matchup. Our creatures are usually just bigger or trade for theirs, so I'll just do that. It could do another one, which would be kind of annoying. Glinthawk, okay. So this actually is Mardu Synth type stuff. That's pretty interesting, too. So they brought back the Refurb. Annoying, but we can just start slamming Chrysalises, and that's going to be hard for them to deal with. Breath Weapon's going to be a really good card from the sideboard. It wipes most of their creatures. They're going to start with the Synth. And do a Lembas, okay. Play that, try to hit their land drop. They do another bridge. We get a bridge. So I think we probably just want to play another Chrysalis and a Refurb this turn. I guess Refurb costs, we only have 1 artifact. Okay, so I can just play Chrysalis like so. Then we can crack a spawn for a Spellbomb, play a bridge, and now we can play the Refurb. Make him pitch a card. It's a Bolt. We'll swing for 4. They're going to chump. I like that. I would say that might mean they have like a Quark Clan Shaman with a Toxin or Hunter's Blowgun, which they definitely could, but their guy would have survived, so there's no reason they needed to chump for that. But they do have the combo, so kind of annoying. Gonna just kill the Chrysalises. But we do have the Blood Fountain in hand, which is very nice. They sack the Synth. They do get an Ancient Den off of it, lucky them. No reason to sack the Spawn since it's not a Toxin, it doesn't gain lifelink, so it doesn't really matter if it kills them that way or not. And they have a Refurb. I was prepared for this. Drop the bridge. And an insight. Alright, we'll just drop Fountain and buy back both Chrysalises. I think we can just wait, just in case we want to hold up Spellbomb and or Eviscerator's Insight. Of course, if they're running a Spellbomb in their main deck and they cast it, I will respond with the Blood Fountain. They're going to attack for 2. I guess they could have Thraben Charm, in which case maybe it was a mistake. They have a Skyfisher here. Pick up the Familiar, play it again. Yeah, I mean, it's not the end of the world to discard the Insight. Kind of don't want to, but I kind of do need to pick up these Chrysalises, so I think it's fine. Yeah, I should have responded to that with the Blood Fountain, because if they do have a Thraben Charm, they can still cast it off this Prophetic Prism, and then we'd lose our flashback. Looks like they got something else, though. Yeah, just the Blowgun. I don't expect an artifact deck like this to run Thraben Charm, but if they did, I'd be kind of hosed. And of course, Mardu Synth usually does run it. Pick these guys up. Landscape makes it so I can actually play both of them if I want, right now. Of course, Krark with Hunter's Blowgun kind of makes me want to not play them both. Plus, I kind of want to save this Landscape for the potential of... Oh, I don't have double green and double red anyway, so it doesn't matter. Why is this happening? I don't know why sometimes it adds it and then makes you click on it. I'm sure I'm just silly. So we'll just play that and pass. They get another Synth into a Plains. They attack with Refurb. It has Death Touch, so I'd have to trade with it with the Chrysalis, but I think I can just trade Familiars and I'm fine with that. There's a cat right here who wants to play as well. Equip the Blowgun. I think we'll just pass. Vault of Whispers. Play another Chrysalis. And swing. If they want to trade this and like a Golf Blast for this guy, I'm fine with that. They don't. What are the chances they have Cast Down here? Because I could just sack all these spawn right now to flashback an Eviscerator's Insight to hit for 4 extra. Feels pretty good. Not another reason we're going to need these spawn, really. So let's just go for it. Oh, they're just going to crack a Lembas. That's fine. So let's flashback this on the Blood token. Fanatical and a Krark. Hit for 6. And I guess we could put down Krark, because if they play a Krark, I can sack before they can equip. So I can prevent the Death Touch. It feels worth it. And then they either have to have a removal spell for this beforehand, or they have to sack a million artifacts. They're going to swing for 3. I will take it. Glint Hawk picks up Synth. It's a Galvanic. Yeah, can't do anything about that. No reason to sack anything. Another Synth. Into a Refurb. Not bad for them. Get rid of our Landscape. And they do have the Krark. Well, that's outrageous. That's unfair. Okay, well, they can kill off both of these guys. We get another... I wanted to hold this, but they're out of cards, so there's no reason to hold this anymore anyway. Plus, we kind of have to do something. We're going to die pretty fast here. So we'll draw 3. Wildfire. Wellspring. I guess we might as well Wildfire so we have an extra mana for next turn. Hydra. Well, things were going pretty well until they got the second Krark. Equip. Attack for 7. Toxin. Doesn't do much. I mean, I can just play a big Hydra and give it lifelink. I guess if they're only going to swing with the Death Touch creature then, that's fine. Well, they might swing with everything, because if they have a Galvanic off the top, then they could win around it. But if I have the Toxin, that would prevent that from happening. 6. I can play a 6/7. Yeah, it's either that or I'm just going for a Hail Mary with these guys and trying to hope I draw into something. Might as well just play a big guy. If they just attack with a Death Toucher, I will just take it for a turn. There's the Kraken on the Synth. Into a Glint Hawk. Yeah, they'll swing with the team. I'll block the Skyfisher. Offset the damage with this Toxin. Go up to 9. Glint Hawk, the Prophetic Prism. Then play it again. Lembas is decent, but I kind of just want the number of cards seen from these two. We'll start with the Wellspring. Cast Down's pretty good. And we're going to Offering. Blood Fountain. Refurb is also really good. So they only have 1 card in hand, so we can take that away. It was a Krark. That's pretty relevant. And we got to leave up a Cast Down. Well, I'll trade here, block here, cast down this. Seems good. Alright, so we'll just pass. Equip the blowgun to the samurai. Yeah, that's annoying. I was thinking about map tokening the familiar, and then I was like, well, if it's going to trade for this, it doesn't matter. But if they do this, it's a little annoying. But I guess I can just cast this down now, actually, since they only attacked with it. They got an insight. That's pretty good draw from them. And a refurb. I will get rid of a Lembas. This blood fountain seems way too valuable. Equip the blowgun over here. Toxin's nice. It's 5 mana to play a blood fountain and crack it, so I can't get a Chrysalis off that. So I'm going to just start with a Lembas. Don't want another swamp. I guess I'll take a Vault of Whispers, though. Let's try to buff this up, so it will trade this time. They bolt it in response. Okay. In that case, I could blood fountain it back, as well as a Chrysalis, replay it. Then I'm tapped out, so I don't have Toxin, but I can use it as a blocker on any of these. They'll probably just attack with this, and I can take 3 for 1 turn. Or if I just do Blood Fountain to get 2 Chrysalises, maybe they attack with everything, and I can do a Toxin again? No, I don't think that's better, because the Chrysalises just die to another Kark. They've already used 3, but if they get a way to buy them back from the graveyard, I don't have a way to stop it at the moment. Let me just buy these back, play a familiar which draws us a card. It's a landscape. I think we will sandbag that. I have a lot of stuff to do, but not an incredible amount. Like if I had like 2 Eviscerator's Insights in the yard, I would absolutely still just play the landscape, but as is, we are running low. And they just had a land, which they play. They do swing with the team though. So I will block, take 5. Put this in Galvblast range, but I can just use Toxin or Lembas here. Oh, they do have an insight in their grave, which I totally forgot about. So if they just draw a Galvblast, we die here. That was a mistake. I probably should have blocked the Glint Hawk then. They have a Synth into a Goldmire Bridge, and they have a Prism. Alright, not dead. That's a good sign. Let's play Chrysalis. Attack with the Nyxborn Hydra. Give it lifelink so that we're out of range of death. And crack a clue. Fanatical's nice. That's enough card draw, I think, that I'll play this landscape and we'll pass. They have a Lembas of their own. Into a Prism. Swing with the Glint Hawk. And could probably take it. If I can find a removal spell for this and they don't have another creature, I could attack for lethal, but they have a Lembas. I guess just to be safe, we can probably just block and Fanatical away and Eldrazi spawn to grow it. Cast down's not bad. We'll trade here, re-equip, and pass. Cleansing Wildfire. Do we have any basics left? We have 4 on the field, which means we should have 2. Yeah, we haven't discarded any, so 2 more. Let's just start with that. I don't see any reason to Cleansing Wildfire their lands. We haven't seen any, but for all I know, they could be playing Cleansing of their own. And they just have some basics, so not a big deal. Yeah, let's pull out a land. Got another land. Let's crack a clue. Wellspring. I'll play that. Bridge. Let's play one of those. Attack for 6. Play our Krark and pass with a cast down up. Down up, down up, B, left, right, left, right, left, right, B, up, down, select, start. Right. Crack their Synth. For another one. Play that. Into a Lightning Bolt. Crack the Synth right away. Glint Hawk. If they try to bolt the Krark, I'm going to wipe these Samurai. Swing with the Refurb. We know they just got a Glint Hawk off the top, which means they're going to buy this back. So I might as well just kill it now. So let me do that. They bolt the Krark, so I'm going to respond by using 2 here to crack this Lembas, since the spawn's going to die anyway. And then we will sack 2 artifacts to the Shaman to wipe the Samurai. Then there's the Glint Hawk. Pick up a Prism, play it again. So a removal spell or 2 additional power on this is going to win us the game. So let's just map for 1 power. That's a Nyxborn Hydra, which means we can leave it on top. We can blood away a land here, and then we can bestow 1 Hydra upon the other for a bunch of damage, and we'll hit for 15. And that'll be game 1. Nice long game 1. Apparently we took quite a long time there. Duresses are going to be good here. Breath weapons and oofs are all going to be good. I didn't see any graveyard recursion, but that doesn't mean there isn't any. They are pretty much all flying, so Krarks are bad. But toxins are not terrible because I like the life gain. Makeshift is pretty good. Most of their stuff's 2 toughness. Well, I guess it's Scales, Refurb, Glint Hawk. Core Skyfisher is 1, 2, 3. But Makeshift seems good enough to keep. Can probably get rid of one of each of these. I think maybe a Spell Bomb. If they're playing Skyfishers, which they are, I would, in a Mardu deck, be playing at least one Omen of the Dead. So I feel like they got to have something there. We have a Bajuka Bog already, but kind of want to keep one Nile Spell Bomb and one Toxin, just for the utility we can get out of them. Alright, this hand is not looking great. Double Wellspring makes me want to keep it, but we have no black mana. But chances of drawing it are pretty high with 2 Wellsprings, plus we're on the draw. I think I'll keep it. It is slow. There's a Fanatical. I don't mind seeing that, but of course we still really need a black land. But we have 4 more draws to get there. There's another Dispute Effect. Let's play a Wellspring. There's our Vault. Perfect. As long as we don't get dust to dusted, we'll be okay here. They Lembus. Scry to the top. They hit their land drop. We also get a bridge. So I think we're going to play the Vault and Duress in case they do have a dust to dust. They have 2. We can't do anything about that. But this way we also get our Wellspring down. No dust to dust. They do have double Synth, double Glint Hawk, which is pretty nice. Almost makes me want to take a Prism, but Prism doesn't really do much here, and the Synth is just better. So I'm going to take that in case they, I don't know, sack the other one, or we get a Troublemaker Roof to get rid of it or something before they get full value out of it. Now we'll play a Synth. Not a Synth. Now they got me saying it. A Wellspring. This is shaping up to be pretty good since we hit our black source and a lot of card draw. We're in a good spot, but they are not in a bad spot either. There's a Synth into a Blowgun. So they can play that. But if they play the Glint Hawk, pick it back up, yeah, they might whiff on something else they can get. Refurb. They need an untapped land to play both of those. There's the Refurb. I guess we'll just get rid of the Landscape here. And no untapped land from them is nice. Oh, also a Swamp is pretty good for us because that lets us play 2 of these. Or I could just play 1 and a Refurb. Well, I think we're just kicking things off with the draw 3, seeing what we want to do. Chrysalis is good. The other ones are meh. I guess we gotta get a blocker here. Also, yeah, we did take a little bit of time last game, apparently. They discard their Synth. They must have a third? So we're already at 9 minutes, so I do got to go a little faster. Yes, they do have a third Synth. Into a Vault. Into a Prism. We know they have 1 more Glint Hawk. We will trade with the Refurb if we can. Nope, they just Galv Blast it. Okay, attack for 4. Well, we are just playing a Chrysalis and leaving up Insight here. They got that Glint Hawk. Pick up Synth. Do a Rustvale Bridge. Play it right away. Blood away a Goldmire Bridge. Getting a little flooded, it seems. Blood Fountain. There we go. Oh, they already had one. Yeah, I knew they were going to have some recursion. That's why I wanted the Spell Bomb to stay. Get rid of a Plains. Yes, they are flooded. Can't really attack here. We're going to Eviscerator's Insight the Wellspring on the end step. Draw 3. Troublemaker Oof is pretty good. Can't take them off black or anything, especially with this Prism, but we can just get rid of a Blood Fountain or get rid of the Familiar. Yeah, they have no creatures in the graveyard right now. So let me just... Yeah, let's just Troublemaker Oof away their Refurb. Play a Bridge. And I don't think we even want to attack yet. So we'll just pass here. Take it slow, we're in a good spot. We just need to get a little bit more mana and we can start putting Hydras onto things. Hunter's Blowgun is fine. A little annoying because it gives Death Touch, but only on attacks. So they can attack for 3 and then I can Hydra this up and attack for a bajillion. That's fine. They will play a land. On the end step, I'm going to cycle this Landscape because it's the more costly one. More cost effective as well here. Munitions is... Oop, threw this off a little bit. Munitions is pretty good. Let me just bestow for a bunch here. and attack for 11. They'll trade for the Troublemaker and take 9. The only thing to really fear here is like triple Galv Blast, which seems unlikely since they have 2 cards in hand. But if we can hit them for another 9, munitions will finish them off. Even if we only hit them, even if they block for 3 of it, munitions will still finish them. Refurb off a Synth Crack. They'll play that. I'll just get rid of a bridge. I can also just do another Hydron here for another +5, which would be 16. So they'd need 5 toughness. They have to leave everything back. Although I have to be worried about a cast down if they have 2 mana up, so I might probably won't go all in on this if they leave that 2 mana up. They do attack for 3. So if I attack here and they double block, they take 6, and then I have 5 left over, which munitions will finish them off. And they do have a Lembas. Okay, so that's not going to work. I can put them to, I can do 16, triple block 13. They'll survive at 1. So that's not going to work either. Okay, so I actually can't kill them because of this Lembas. So I'll just attack for 9. They'll take it. Oh, if they're going to take it, I can kill them through the Lembas. Now I'll play the munitions. And we have 5 mana, so even if they go up to 5, I can throw 5 things at them. They are going to. Alright, and I will just sacrifice 5 of our creatures and lands. Oh, well. I misclicked. I tapped 1, and then the other one moved to the front, and so then I accidentally sacrificed that one. So let's see if they can kill us since I just threw. They have a Lembas. That helps quite a bit. They have to... If they attack like this, I block here. I don't die to 1 Galvanic Blast. If they Galvanic this, though, then I probably don't have a way to kill them back. Well, perfect. I love MTGO just shifting things around and it throwing the game for me. Yep, they have the Galvanic. And they go up to 4. And they have a Skyfisher. Bajuka Bog, I mean, I guess that's something. I can play a Hydra. That means they can't kill me quite yet. But then I have to trade for this. I got a 1. I guess I just play a Lembas, which keeps me alive a little bit. No, we'll just do the Hydra, because this at least trades for one of them, whereas Lembas does not. I am tilted AF right now. Prism. Attack with the crew. We'll block the Hawk. I'm at 1. I don't think what I could draw that would keep me alive here. Chrysalis almost does. Frostforge Bridge. Let's see. I can play Lembas, crack it, which gains me 3, and then I can throw something at this familiar to kill that. And so I'll only take 2, but I'm throwing away my resources, which I need to kill them, but I need to survive first. So yeah, I guess I'll Lembas. Don't need a bridge. And I have 3 mana and 3 things to throw, which is not quite enough. So I will pass. Yep, they're going to Blood Fountain back a Glint Hawk, which makes sense. They're going to equip up the Blowgun. I'm going to crack this Lembas, and I might as well just save time here, throw this, since we might have to have a game 3. And I have very little time for that. I'm at 1. Glint Hawk, pick up the Prism, play it, play another Skyfisher. I don't know what we can draw that'll deal 4 damage here, but that's not it. I have to sacrifice this. We could play a Chrysalis, and that won't do it. Okay, I am seething from Mitgo throwing that game for me. But let's see if we can get the win after all. If we don't, you're not going to be seeing this because I will be absolutely pissed. You need a fast hand. That's acceptable. Cleansing Wildfire looks decent. We have lands and playable things, so I just needed a hand that wasn't like all card draw. Opponent on the mold to 6. We're gonna F6 every opportunity we get. Start with a Great Furnace and a Krark. Sure. Another Wildfire isn't bad. Let's pull out a Swamp. Chrysalis is decent, although worse with this Shaman looming at us. They synth right away into a synth. Well, if they don't play a land here, then I'm just going to slam this Chrysalis. Okay. Because they apparently kept a 1-lander, which gives us a shot of actually winning. Oh, in fact, I should just play this Wellspring. because they could just wipe these if they're really desperate enough to crack the synth to wipe it. Plus, this means they can't get us with a Galv Blast. They synth again into a Skyfisher. Okay, well, it looks like our opponent very kindly threw back for us. We're playing a game of catch. I made a minor throw, but a decent throw. Yep, they're going to sack one, and they get a Blood Fountain off the top. They're going to sack the other, and they hit a mountain. That's playable, but more red isn't what they wanted. Although they could Galv Blast. Oh, they don't have enough for Galv Blast. No, not enough artifacts. Well, Cleansing Wildfire, get a Swamp, get a Cast Down, play our land. I'm going to play Refurb and just start attacking. Now I feel like it's bounced out. I'm embarrassed because I made that misplay, but now they're embarrassed because they kept this hand. So maybe I will show this this game after all. We get another Wellspring into a Troublemaker Oof, which can get rid of their bridge. Pretty nice. I'm also going to duress them. See what else they got. They do have a Galv Blast. Troublemaker Oof away this bridge. I could just take the Prism, but I'll take the extra land, even though this prevents them from playing Glint Hawk. So that might have been better, but I don't know. It's fine. They can play a Familiar here. I'll discard this Lembas, and I'll just cast down their guy. Okay, what a match. Here we are in round 2. Hand looks great. We have nice 3 lands, 3 colors, Cleansing Wildfire, Fanatical Offering. We obviously want a Wellspring for this, but we do just have a Kark, which we can sacrifice if we want, or if it's not the right match for a Kark, or if it is the right match and we happen to use it and then leave it, you know what it is. Plus a Bojuka Bog gets a lot of incidental value in some matches, and is just very good in other matches. If we're against Dredge or Terror, it's phenomenal. Mountain Percussionist, so it looks like Shaman's going to be pretty good. We're going to Cleansing Wildfire this turn. Toxin's nice, just for the life gain, not as much for the Death Touch. Let's get a red here, so that we can play this Chrysalis potentially on turn 3. Blood Fountain's not bad either, that fuels the Kark, as does the Toxin, but... Burning Tree Emissary, so this could be a very scary start if they do Rally at the Hornburg. There it is. But the good news is Kark just sweeps this up very nicely, especially with Toxin. So yeah, I think we're just doing that. And I'll just do it now so that they don't have a bolt to interrupt our guy. I guess they could have a Fire Blast, but in that case we'll have to sack this bridge, and it'd be unfortunate, but they don't. So we'll gain 5 back. They do get their 1 off the top. It's a Bushwhacker. Could be pretty good if they have another Emissary or something. But if they don't have another land and all they got, okay, they do. Tomb Raider into Bushwhacker's not bad. It's for 5. We're back down to 14. Cleansing Wildfire is nice, but I think we just got to put down our Chrysalis to save off the attacks. I want to get Lembas down, but I don't know if I want to lose these chump blockers, so I think we'll just pass. They gain life by just blocking, so I think it's worth keeping around. Percussionist. Just attack with a Percussionist. I will block. They don't have enough for Galv Blast to finish this off, and if they're just cycling this guy, I'm fine with that too. It turns into an Epicure. Things for 1. Discard a Blood, or rather a Mountain with a Blood. You know what I mean. Okay. So let's do a Lembas to try to find our land drop. We don't need a Hydra. Chrysalis is okay. Let's Cleansing Wildfire to get that land drop I wanted. Refurb's not bad. We'll just pass. Now we have spawn up with the Lembas, which is good. Alright, and they cannot get through. So this one is very go-wide. So the Karks are great, as we saw, and the Breath Weapons are good. Whether the Storm's still definitely worth it, because they are burn, but they're a lot less, like, cast a bunch of spells burn. For that reason, I don't think we need Duresses, and this is already a good amount to bring in. We don't need Hydras. Makeshift kills most everything, but it's just a little slow. We don't need Spell Bombs, and I think we can cut a Cast Down. To be honest, we can cut 2 Cast Downs. If it was Ping or Burn, I would keep these, because some of their creatures are very important. This one, it's just, we need to kill as many as possible, so I'd rather have some oofs. They might get some incidental bargain value or hit like a Great Furnace, but they're also just blockers. Block a 1/1 and trade with an Emissary or Tomb Raider. 1 lander. that's tapped and only one color is not going to do it, even though we have some of our sideboard cards. This one's a little awkward too, because we can get red, but then we don't have green. And if we get red, we actually don't have any way to use these, or rather any land to ramp with them. We are down to 6. This doesn't really feel like a keepable 6, honestly. I'm going to get rid of it. This one's not good either. This one's really bad. I guess if we draw any land that taps for green or black, we have something. I guess we got to keep this one and get rid of both Chrysalises. 6-card hand would have been better, but I think there's a lot of 5-card hands that would have been better than the 6. So I still think it was right to mulligan. But we're probably going to die to this start unless we draw really well. Like, a bridge would be a great draw. Nope. Now we need not a bridge, we need an untapped land, preferably a forest, I guess, so that we can take away the Great Furnace in 2 turns. I got a Percussionist, swing for 3. Twisted Landscape, I mean, I'll take it over nothing. Ichor Wellspring, refurb. But if we don't get another colored untapped land next turn, then we have to take the entire turn to either play a Wellspring or cycle this, either one of which is not really going to do much. Synth into another Tomb Raider. Yeah, we got to draw like perfectly here. Forest is our best draw, I think. Vault is okay. Not great, though. I guess it lets us play the refurb after a Wellspring. Maybe we can survive like on the cusp here, and then we get like a forest and we can make a big Weather the Storm. But we're dead to like a couple bolts here. They discard a mountain. Nothing on the end step, though. Or just like, you know, Emissary and Rally is pretty bad too. Bushwhacker's also very bad. That's 7 damage. So we're at 3. And they got the Galv Blast. Alright. Well, they had a good start, but it was also just some bad mulligans from us. Let's try again. We're on the play. This hand looks much better. Krark is good. We don't have green, is the only thing I'm upset about, but otherwise we have a couple artifacts we can play. So this one's solid. I don't want to run out the Krark until they have a board, or at least have the potential to make a board that turn, because I don't want it to get bolted too early. Let's just play the Blood Fountain. They got a Percussionist. Another Swamp. Play a Wellspring. Chrysalis. Okay. They attack right away with the Percussionist for a damage. Epicure. And another Epicure. This is probably enough to go for a Krark, especially because we got the Insight off the top, which is nice. Let's just play it. I'll wait until their attack step so they can't get any other haste creatures out first. They'll go to attack, so we will just sack this Wellspring, draw a card, then we'll Insight the Krark away, draw 2. Decent cards, but I definitely need a land. I guess Lembas can find it, or I could just force it, Wildfire a Swamp into a forest, which isn't terrible. They got a Cast of the Fire. Well, if they want to use that on the Blood Fountain, it takes most of their turn. It does mean I can't get back the Krark, but that's not the end of the world. They don't. Oh, well, right. They can use it until next turn. Breath Weapon's pretty good. They have 3 cards in hand. I think we just got to go for the Lembas. And, of course, they'll probably cast this into the fire. Twisted Landscape just lets us play Cleansing Wildfire. So I think we're going to keep it. It also is a green later. But I'm just going to Wildfire our Swamp now so that I can get a forest. Maybe I should have just held up to crack the Lembas to game 3, but I think having access to this Troublemaker or this Weather the Storm is pretty good and important. Maybe I should have just used that on the landscape, to be honest, but I don't know. Since we're running out of basics, but I think it's fine. They Synth. What do they get? Bushwhacker, okay. They just Bushwhacker. That's not bad. We're down to 11. So I can Troublemaker away this Synth. We have an Insight. Or I can just play a Chrysalis here. I think that's probably better for now. Just put down a lot of guys. Hard to deal with. Then I'll pass. Also more mana, so next turn I can just by myself do at least 9 life off of Weather the Storm if I want, which seems solid. They have a Gorilla Shaman. That's fine. Blow up our blood. Might as well just sack it to get rid of this. Everything's kind of good, to be honest. I guess Troublemaker Roof doesn't do too much, especially with the Breath Weapon. We'll just get rid of that. Draw a card here. I guess that could have walked into a Galvanic Blast trap, but it's fine. You get a Toxin. Play a Landscape, and I think I'll just pass. We have a bunch of stuff to do at instant speed, including our Blood Fountain, and I'm just going to leave it, because if they want to spend 3 mana to try to blow it up to force the issue, that's fine. They're going to crack a Blood, go down a mountain. They're just going to pass. Sure, I guess I will crack this Blood Fountain to get back both our guys. Because if I ever tap out a 4, they could just blow it up, so I might as well just use it now. And I'll crack this Landscape, find another black mana. Another Landscape. Well, I can still use the mana, so let's just play that. And play a Chrysalis. And attack with this Chrysalis. Because now I can Toxin it to gain a bunch of life. I should have sacked these first, but it's fine. Sack. I'll sacrifice a spawn to grow it a little bit, gain a little more. And if they like double blast this, then that's fine. They're going to blow up the Clue. Well, that's fine, because I was going to sacrifice it with this mana anyway. I'll just sack another, which I guess means they can blast it now, but then I still have one more, so it's fine. Then I'll crack the Clue. They cast into the fire this bridge, which I could sacrifice, or I could just weather the storm for 12, just to make sure I can't die. That seems solid. So I'll go up to 23, then I'm going to gain 5, and I'll go up to 28, and I'll pass. They sack their Synth, get a Tectonic Hazard. Well, that can kill an Eldrazi spawn, which will sack, and they'll pass. Got another Landscape. I mean, I think I just Breath Weapon to wipe the board and then attack for 11. Alright, we got there. Alright, here we are, round 3. And we have a couple 1-drops and Cleansing Wildfires. If we were on the draw, I mean, this isn't a good keepable hand regardless. But if we were on the draw, maybe I'd be tempted. Even with 21 lands, sometimes you just can't find 2. This is a pretty reasonable 7-card hand. Not the most exciting 5-card hand, but I'll just play a bridge and I'll pass. And they're on Caretaker, which means walls, which means that Krark in the opening hand would have been pretty nice, but hopefully we can just find another one. And we actually have lands, so maybe we'll have a better shot here. They got a Leaf Caller and nothing else. Not the worst. We're just playing a tap land and drawing 3. Another Leaf Caller. I didn't even know the list usually ran more than 1. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it's just this person's. And an Axebane Guardian. Well, even just a cast down would be pretty good, but I'd love a Krark. Cleansing Wildfire. Blood Fountain. Well, I will draw 2. Cast down's good. I will use that to just pick this guy off. Slow him down a little bit. A lot bit. All they got is 4 mana again. Quirion Ranger makes it 5 mana. Tap and untap Shenanigans. Shield Wall Sentinel pulls up another Axebane, I assume. Maybe just the Drift, since they have blue through the Orochi, but no, they go for Axebane. Forest. I guess we just Chrysalis and Wildfire. Getting a Chrysalis down doesn't matter. The only thing we need to do is wipe their board, and we'll win. So I might as well just Cleansing to draw a card, and then we can Blood Fountain if we don't draw anything relevant. Get a Swamp. I mean, that's a Landscape, which we can cycle. I think I'll just play a Blood Fountain and another Blood Fountain, though. Play a Forest. They got Axebane and 1 unknown. They have a Drift of Phantasms, or another one, so that they can get a Reap in the Graves. There's the Axebane. If we can just wipe the board, we'll still be in a fine spot. Here's Nerys, trying to get in on the action. Alright, pitch a card to the blood. We get a Refurb. I mean, discard a card's not bad. Kind of need them to discard 2 for it to be very relevant. They just keep the Drift. They're still in a fine spot. So I'm going to get rid of this blood. Lembas looks at 2 cards. I'm going to play a Landscape, Lembas. Wildfire's not what we need. Another Landscape. We're just drawing not the right cards. I mean, making them discard a card is relevant because they might not be able to find an outlet and the other thing, an outlet and infinite mana, unless they can get Storm up to multiple. I don't know. So we'll just play a refurb and then cycle a landscape on the end step, I guess. They discard a forest. Oh yeah, I guess they could have just discarded a forest even if they didn't have one in hand with the Quirion Ranger. 3 Karks in the main deck, 3 cast downs, and a makeshift. A good number of interaction pieces that we're just not getting. We got 1 cast down, to be fair. Transmute the drift. They get reaping. Okay, just gonna wait for us to have a big turn to reaping back, which is fair. We just gotta avoid that. We get a mountain. Fanatical. I mean, if we cast a single spell, then their reaping can get back 2 drifts, which can win them the game. But not casting a single spell seems very difficult. I guess I could cast it on their end step so they couldn't use it until the following turn. Well, let's potentially do that. Cycle this. Wellspring. Yeah, I guess we'll just pass. Should have attacked, maybe, but I don't think it's going to be super relevant. They have a Winding Way. They just found a Scholar, but that is a win con. So now we'd have to draw a cast down with our Fanatical. I'm just going to Reaping first. Target both drifts. I guess I can respond here. In my deck, buy a card, which is not super relevant. And then Fanatical away. Blood Fountain. Try to get a cast down. Wow, just rubbing it in our faces that the exact 2 cards we were wanting. So then that's 3, they transmute, but then they untap. Did they play a land? They played a forest. I don't know if they have the mana. If they transmute for Freed from the Real, they untap, they only have 3 mana. They can Freed, but they don't have the 1 blue to untap it, right? Which means they actually can't win. Yeah, I guess that is right. Okay, well that's lucky for us. So they have a Scholar and a Freed from the Real, so we just wipe the board, and they can't cast either of these. Plus we have a Blood Fountain for the Krark. So I think if we just wipe the board, we should win. Play a Wellspring, play a Krark, and give a Death Touch. I mean, I could just sack 3 things, but might as well give a Death Touch in case they have anything tricky. Sack a Wellspring, another Toxin, wipe their board, and play a Chrysalis, attack for 2, and pass. I do have another Axebane. We will crack a clue. Cleansing Wildfire. Let's use that. Get our last forest. Makeshift Munitions is pretty good. So I'll just put that down, and if they try to go for anything, I can just shoot the guy in response. So I don't even need to pick up the Krark. Alright, well, little unlucky it took us that long to find the Krark, but lucky that they were 1 mana short that turn. They didn't have a particularly good start, which was nice. Pyroblasts are good just because their combo pieces are all blue. Breath Weapon, they have a lot of high toughness creatures, but it does kill Quirions and Orochi. And they also, no, we didn't see a Jasper or Sentinel, but sometimes they play those. Spellbombs are decent. Krark is, of course, best card we could get. Hydras, generally we just need to wipe their board, so we don't really need a Hydra. But if we can't wipe their board, but they can't combo, I don't mind having 1. Makeshift takes a long time to be really good, but if we do just land it early and can leave up 3 mana, it's really hard for them to combo, so I think having it's still fine. I will say these are only good for the combo pieces, so maybe we only want like a couple Pyroblasts. To be fair, we're really just still going for the Krarks as our main thing to hit. I guess maybe just 1 Spellbomb. No, I think I like the Spellbombs over the Breath Weapons. They cycle and they knock out a Reaping the Graves, worst case. I guess we don't really need Blood Fountains, do we? Keep an Insight instead? I don't know. Walls is a weird one, but we're pretty well set up to beat him in the opener, and we got a Krark, so we're going to keep this. Hand's not bad either. It's not amazing, but definitely not throwing away a 4-land Krark hand, unless if it was all land or something. Quirion starting. Toxin's a great draw. I shouldn't have led on that bridge, because if they... I guess they don't have more than 2 mana here. But if they did have, like, Masked Vandal... I guess I don't know if Walls plays Masked Vandal. I'm thinking Elves, but They could just have like the glamour or something out of the sideboard. I don't really know. They untap with the forest, so it might be their only land. They put down a battlement. Almost makes me want to just wipe the 2 creatures here, but I think that would be a little premature. And also we can't. We don't have the black mana yet. I think I'll just play a landscape, fetch a black. The Bojuka Bog's not super relevant, but if I can just wipe even a couple creatures and then exile them so they don't come back with a reaping, like, it's a little bit of value. Not the worst thing ever. They're going to tap for 2 and untap. So still their only forest. Or they just want the extra bump. Axebane Guardian, no attacks. Got our swamp. So they could definitely have something. Cast down's not bad. So I could go for the Krark. It feels pretty good. Getting 3. But I could just go for a cast down on the Axebane and like their upkeep. I'm not even super worried about what they got going on yet. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's kind of a lot. I know they might have like a Tamiyo's Safekeeping in the sideboard, which would keep it alive even through a Krark. I guess they could just have infinite mana here. So I do need to do something to disrupt them. I think I'll just put down a Krark. And in their upkeep, I'll go for the Toxin, maybe. Play a Bog. I think it's fine. Yeah, because even if I don't kill this, I can kill something else. They cycle a Generous Scent at the end here. I guess they could still untap this, but they'd have to bounce a land. So I will use this opportunity to just try to wipe them if they don't have a Safekeeping or anything. Alright. Seems fine to me. Still a nice 3 for 2. They got a forest. And we have a cast down for the next one. But they got nothing. Let me just play a Lembas. Cleansing Wildfire. Kind of like that. Sure, we'll just leave that on top. I know it's a little awkward because we can't play it now, but we can crack this on the end step with a Fanatical or just cast down if we would prefer. They cycle another Ent for a forest. Nothing on the end step though, so let's just Fanatical. Well, nothing during their turn, that is. Another cast down is good. Another Fanatical's good, so let's just Wildfire here, get another red source. Spellbomb's not bad. Let me just put that down. Alright, now we got a lot of stuff cooking. They're pretty behind it. They didn't even have a 3-drop, so no Lead the Stampede, no Axebane, or they didn't want to play it, but that means they could have like 4-drops like Shield Wall Sentinel. They could have a lot of off-color cards like Drifting Phantasms and stuff. Drift of Phantasms. You get an Overgrown Battlement. Okay. Probably means they just have like an Orochi Leaf Caller and they want it to be cheaper. We'll draw 2. Krark is not bad. Play a Bridge. Play a Chrysalis. I'll play a Familiar. Discard a Scholar of Athreos. And I will buff up our Familiar with a map. We got a Makeshift Munitions. We'll leave that on top. And we were supposed to hold up a mana so we had a cast down. And I did not do that. Or at least a Spellbomb activation. I don't really think we're going to die here. So I think I'll leave it. But definitely meant to hold up the cast down. They got their Battlement. And another. Munitions. 1, 2, 3. We only have 4 artifacts, but that's enough. I think we just attack it for like 7. Well, we'll make it 6 because we can keep this for munitions. Play munitions and play a Krark. Plus we have double cast down, so we just kind of have all of our bases covered. And we should be okay. Caretaker, and they're just going to pass. I will crack our landscape for a swamp. And I don't think I want to lose anything, because I don't want to cast down when we have this Krark. I don't want to crack the Spellbomb when we have the Krark. Get a Lembas, that's good. So let's just play that. Just an extra artifact to sacrifice to one of our effects. Honestly, a land isn't terrible for the same reason, but I think I'll just bin it because, well, if we got almost any spell, I'd be happier, and if we got another land, it wouldn't be a big deal. If it was an artifact land, it wasn't, so not the best, but still fine. I guess there's a world where I could sacrifice 4 artifacts, wipe all of these guys, attack for 7, and then, like, we don't have quite enough mana to throw everything with Makeshift, but, like, try to do that. But because of the Makeshift, they have to now be worried about, like, blocking the Chrysalis, because otherwise we can just throw enough stuff at them to win. Swing with these guys. They will just take it. So we'll put them to 8, and we'll pass. We could have sacked the spawn and sacked like 7 things to munitions to try to kill him, but if they have like a Tamio safekeeping, it just gets a little bad. They just have a Generous Ent. That's fine. We can just cast that down. Does gain him 3 life, but that's okay. Get rid of the Ent. Draw Hydra. I mean, that probably just kills. They're at a virtual 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Not quite enough. And I definitely still want to leave up this cast down, but I think we will throw it on here for 5, just so they have to chump with a couple things. All right, we got there. All right, this hand looks bad. I like a lot of lands. 3 to 4 is not bad, but that's way too many. 2's fine, plus we got a Spellbomb, Offering. I could probably put back either an Offering or a Chrysalis here. And I think it's just going to be a Chrysalis. Just kind of want to go fast, I think. I can get down to turn 2 Refurb, and then from there, Fanatical something. They're on Elves. Been seeing a lot more Elves. We get our Chrysalis back. That's fine. I'll just play Refurb and pass. Ideally, this does not turn on a Masked Vandal. Discard a Lead the Stampede. That's interesting. I have to have like 2 or 3 of those, I would guess, for that to be the choice. Elvish Vanguard into Aquarian Ranger is pretty good. They can play another 1-drop if they want. So we need to find Krark, just like when we were against walls. Perfect. Love to see it. In that case, I probably just crack this for a red, preserve our artifacts, and the next turn I can play Krark and sacrifice 2 without feeling too bad about it. This Vanguard is going to grow too big. I could also chump the Vanguard with the Familiar, sack it to the Offering to try to draw 2, but if I don't get an untapped red source, then I'm kind of in a bad spot. Depends on what they do here. Lead the Stampede, okay. Finhorn Aquarian, not the best Stampede I've ever seen, but they can play them both, grow the Vanguard. That'll leave them pretty susceptible to a Krark on 1, though. They'll keep the Vanguard, but everything else will die, which means I'll definitely go for that. There's the Quirion. They can also use this Quirion once again to untap the Elanor to play another 1-drop. Here's the Finthorn. They're just attacking. I think we're just gonna hold the Familiar. Probably should have attacked with it if I wasn't gonna block, but we'll sack this for a red. There's a Slagwoods. So I think I just wipe the 4 small creatures, then we only have 1, 4, 4, and 2 mana to deal with, which feels pretty good to me. Sack the Spellbomb, I'll draw a card off of it. And I might chump and sack this next turn with the Fanatical, but I want to get in for 2 here. So again, I should have gotten in for 2 last turn. A bit of a misplay. They have a Winding Way. This time they get 4, including a Masked Vandal. No land drop, though, so next turn they can go Priest or Masked Vandal, but not both. Cleansing Wildfire is not bad. If we just want to chump, though, we got to leave up Fanatical, which I think we want to. We want to get the card draw to try to find another Krark. Unfortunately, against Elves, a lot of times the first Krark doesn't quite do it. It was good. You know, it was a 4-for-1, but they also got a 4-for-1 with their Winding Way. So they have 8 cards in hand right now. Plus, they have this Masked Vandal, so if they try to exile anything, I will have to sacrifice that. There's a Sentinel. There's the Vandal. They will target the Familiar, so I will just sack it. Which means they get in for 6. Not great. Next turn I can play a Chrysalis, but if they get a Nyxborn Hydra, we're kind of cooked. Another Wildfire. Okay, I think I'm just playing a Chrysalis and holding up a Fanatical. Even a Blood Fountain doesn't do too much right now because we only have 1 black. I guess if we just get like a swamp off of an Offering or Cleansing Wildfire, although that's an extra turn to wait. There's a Timber Watch, so we're going to need a cast down for that or a Krark real fast. So I'm going to, the Masked Vandal is interesting. Trying to think what they could have that's going to punish blocking here. Nothing's coming to mind, so I'll just chump here. Sacrifice to grow the Chrysalis. And I'm going to Fanatical Offering the map, so I just have this spawn to chump again. 2 Wellsprings. Okay, so I eat the Masked Vandal. And they're going to play another Sentinel. Grow the Vanguard. There's a Blood Fountain. So I can get back a Krark next turn. That means I kind of need a blocker for 3 different creatures. If they have a Quirion Ranger, 4 creatures. That's not going to happen. Cleansing Wildfire is the only way I'll get my black source for sure. But that's not a Krark until the following turn. And then I need Death Touch too. I think I kind of gotta go Wellspring Insight is my best bet. Cleansing just doesn't do anything until next turn, other than draw me one card. And next turn I think is gonna be too late. I guess another Chrysalis would be a good hit too, but only if I draw it off my very first card drawn. Yeah, in which case I could just go for an Insight on the map token, because that gives me 2 cards to hit a Chrysalis. Anything other than a Chrysalis or a Krark is just kind of not good enough. I guess I'm gonna, but a Krark doesn't even do it until it gets Death Touch, right? Because it would need to, I'd have to chump this. I'd have to chump here. Alright, I'm playing to my outs, so I'm gonna sack this, trying to get a Krark or a Chrysalis. Swamp and a Refurb. I mean, Refurb's a 1 blocker, which 3 blockers is enough, unless they have a Quirion. So we got our Swamp, so I guess I'm gonna Cleansing Wildfire now, because there's a chance I can survive till next turn. So this will make next turn even better. Another Refurb, but I'm out of black, unfortunately. So I'll make him discard 1, and we're just gonna pass. They discard a Priest of Titania. So now I need to draw Death Touch really quickly. Like, basically in my top card, because I don't have mana to do anything other than Blood Fountain. Pick up the Krark, play it, and a 1-drop Toxin. So hopefully I'll get that. Looks like they're playing, yeah, Nyxborn, so that's just going to kill me from the trample, unfortunately. And I wasn't getting to Toxin. Alright, we get Breath Weapons and Oofs. Interestingly, I mean, if they don't kill us with a Nyxborn Hydra in 1 turn, it's a nice answer to it later. Spellbomb isn't necessary. Lembas and Insight can be taken out, I think. Alright, on the play here, and Cast Down's nice, but we can't play these Refurbs. Fanatical doesn't do anything unless we sack our land, and Chrysalis is useless, so this looks bad. This looks much better. Troublemaker doesn't do a lot until very late game, but we do have all of our colors. Fanatical is nice, Krark, of course, and Lembas. I think we're getting rid of the Oof, in fact. And starting with the bridge. Do have to be worried that, especially if they don't play anything here, they might cycle Generous Ent and then Masked Vandal this away. If they have an Elves, they could still just do it next turn. Blood Fountain. Kind of want to get my black, but I kind of want to get this Lembas down. I think we're going to do that for the efficiency. If we find a black land, that's not bad. Refurb. Let's see, next turn, assuming they don't blow up our lands, we can play a Krark and we can sack this for a mountain. The following turn, and play this. The following turn we only have 1 swamp. So I don't think Refurb's what we want. Chrysalis might be decent. There's a Quirion. Untap the Elves. Tap for 3. Timberwatch Elf. Well, Mountain doesn't do much. I can play Krark, wipe their board, but I have to sack a bridge for it, which is not great. But if I don't do it now, the Timberwatch is going to be able to keep one of their guys alive. Yeah. They only have 1 forest, so I'm going to assume they need it pretty bad. I think we're going to do it. I think we are going to kill this board. I hate losing a land this early, but it feels pretty important to kill some of their stuff. And ideally, it just sets them back more than it sets us back. I'm going to leave this landscape just on the off chance if they do kill this bridge. I'm still going to just get a swamp with this because that's what I need, but we'll see. They have a Sentinel, and that's it. That's a good sign. Wellspring's a good draw, so I'm going to play that and a Blood Fountain. Another Wellspring. Alright, that definitely set them back more than us, so I'm happy with that decision. They did find their second forest. Birchlore. It's 2 more mana. Winding Way. And they hit 4 creatures. Okay. Vault of Whispers, so I could just put down a Chrysalis. Yeah. I think that seems good. It'll give us a little bit of time to pressure them. And I think we just sack this right away. Maybe I should save it because we could Blood Fountain Krark in the same turn, and right now we don't necessarily have the mana for that. But I think it's fine. Wildfire will help with that. There's a Quirion. Then they have the Masked Vandal. I guess it's probably taking out the Blood Fountain. No, they're going for the Slagwoods. That's annoying. Gets rid of our green and our indestructible land for the Cleansing Wildfire. Untap, bounce a forest, so they have 2 mana again. I guess they also think it'll set back the Blood Fountain getting the Kark anyway, which is fair, especially if they have another one. That'd be real bad. Now they play the Vanguard. Pretty sure they could have played that before any of these, and it would have gotten 2 counters, but what do I know? I'm no Elves pilot. Refurb is fine. So I think we start with the Fanatical, drawing 3. Bajuka Bog would have been nice before they Vandaled us. Hydra, can't play it, and Munitions. Munitions might be relevant. Let's make them discard a card. It's an Elves. I think this is a different Sentinel. Yeah, because they played this on 1, so I still have that in hand. We will bog them. And do I want to attack? They don't really have enough mana yet for a Nyxborn. This Vanguard could get 1, 2. It could get pretty big, theoretically. I think I'll just leap back. I don't think we're probably going to be winning. Maybe we get into a race where we like somehow get this Hydra down on this and we hit them in a couple turns, but it feels like as long as we just don't die, we can probably win with like this Munitions. Because next turn I could just play it, ping off these 2, which is pretty good. Also, if they play like a Priest of Titania or anything, or even a Timberwatch Elf, I can kill that. Another Winding Way, alright. They whiffed on a Hollow and a Winding Way, but they got a Birchlore and a Hydra. Still need that Kark. There's a Birchlore and a Sentinel. Untap with Aquarian. Winding Way again. Priest and a Timberwatch. They have just 1 mana left, I think. So next turn they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 potential mana. So they can do a decent-sized Hydra if they want. Oof, would be nice if we had green, although I guess we don't need it this turn anyway, but I guess Cleansing Wildfire can get a green, but we couldn't play Munitions then, and we can shut off some of their mana production by just Munitionsing. We gotta kill this Ranger for sure. And if we shoot a Ranger, then that'll leave them with 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 mana in 1 burst, maybe 5 or so. So yeah, we gotta kill that guy. Here's the Munitions. Hang off the Ranger. With the Wellspring, so we can at least draw a card. Maybe it's a land. They're going to untap the Masked Vandal. Bounce a Forest. Okay. Blood Fountain is more fodder, which is fine. Probably just ping down a Ranger while we can. And hold back. I think next turn, assuming they don't do anything super scary, next turn we might have to just Wildfire our own land to get a green source so that if they put down a Hydra the following turn, we can Troublemaker Oof it. The good news is, though, if they try to put down a Titania or a Timberwatch Elf to try to set up for the following turn, we can just kill those with the Munitions. They'll probably spend their cards trying to at least make guys with 2 toughness so it costs more resources rather than like a 1 toughness Priest, I would guess. Could also just put Hydra on Vanguard for +2 right now, which is not great, and I will definitely trade for it if they allow that with the Chrysalis. Looks like that is what they're going for. I know I can get rid of it with the Oof, but seeing as that can't happen until the following turn, yeah, I would have wanted to trade, but luckily they didn't even go for it. They're just setting up. Another land isn't bad, but it is just a swamp. This time I can kill the Ranger, and that's going to shut off some more mana. I mean, these guys still tap, but let's start with a Cleansing Wildfire, getting our green source. Chrysalis. Play another Blood Fountain. This means next turn we have enough for Blood Fountain, sack, plus Kark, which is good. So maybe I don't want to use up too many more artifacts. So I could shoot this. Doesn't actually really cut them off mana because they just play another guy and then tap it. 2, 3, 4. Plus they're just going to try to play a couple creatures to grow this, which means I might want some extra damage to throw on it because currently we got 6. So if they play 3 creatures, I can still trade with it. I don't know. We'll just pass. They get another Forest. They have a Priest. Grow the Vanguard. Another Priest. Grow the Vanguard. They got 1 mana left. They don't attack. I don't think I waste any of this on these guys because I'm just going to crack Blood Fountain for the Shaman. Although I only have 1 artifact in my graveyard, so I might as well sack this Refurb to get it back as well. Once I wipe the board, I'm going to have a Chrysalis. This is going to be able to get in. They have so much mana. I actually want to take out this first. Maybe I do just pick off the Priests, and then I go for a Troublemaker Oof on this instead, and I save this for later. Yeah, I think that's better by a little bit. I want to be efficient, but I also want to not die. And I think if all I have after it is like a 4/5 and they have a 7/7 that could become like an 8/8 or a 9/9, I could die to that pretty easily. Dross Forge, not bad. I could also just play a Chrysalis here, because if I play Oof, I'm sacking a Familiar, and then I kind of waste some mana here. But I could just play Chrysalis, that gives me more fodder, and makes my other Chrysalis bigger, so it's going to be really hard for them to get through. I think this is fine. Plus it gives me enough mana to Oof and Krark and Blood Fountain next turn, which is pretty good. I guess all I really need now is a cast down to kill the Vanguard after I've gotten rid of everything around it. That or Death Touch, but Death Touch on the Krark would wipe our whole board, mostly. They have the Timberwatch Elf. That's definitely going to push me to wipe the board. Aquarian, that's fine. It's a 9/9, but I can get up to 10 power with these Chrysalises. Untap the Birchlore. Tap 3 for another Nyxborn Hydra for +1/+1. Doesn't give them enough to get past these, though. It is just more trample that I have to deal with. Come on, go for the attack. They don't. So I'm definitely going to sacrifice the Krark, or rather sacrifice the Blood Fountain to the Krark. So I want the Troublemaker Oof as well. I think we'll just go to our turn. Bridge. Trying to find a way to... Maybe I should have sacked the Familiar. To get the Familiar back with the Blood Fountain, but also want to bargain it with the Oof, but I also want the Oof to not die to the Krark, and those all happen before another thing, so they can't all happen first. And I can't Oof a spawn after they've already lost their stuff. So we will just sack a spawn, grow our guys, sacrifice the Refurb, exile the slightly bigger Hydra. Then I will pay 4 to Blood Fountain back these two. Play Krark, which I need to do for at least 2, 3 if I want to get this Vandal. I'm going to play this Familiar. I know they can just draw a forest to discard that, but that's fine. They don't. They just discard their Hollow. Okay. I have a land, so I need to sacrifice 2 or 3. I don't want to sack the Blood Fountain. I'm happy to sack the Familiar, though. So we'll go 1, 2, and 3. Boom, boom, boom. They're left with an 8/8 with Trample, which can't get past these two. I don't see a reason to attack in. I could attack with this one because they would trade, but then I'm taking 8 back, and I think that seems bad. So let's just pass. If I can just get another green source, then I can play a Nyxborn Hydra on my Chrysalis to make it bigger, and I will be winning the race. But they get a Birchlore, grow slightly. I also just have a Blood Fountain to buy back the Troublemaker Oof and the Refurb. Although Refurb's going to cost a pretty penny now. Also, we get another Krark. That's not bad. Just kind of need a cast down. I'm just going to pass, leave up my Blood Fountain. 1 cast down, and we kind of win the game. Masked Vandal's a pretty good draw. Luckily, we left up the Blood Fountain, so they got to take out... Well, they'll probably want to take out the munitions anyway, but that's fine now, I think. It's kind of done its job. They do go for the Blood Fountain. Well, I will just crack it in response. Get the Troublemaker and the Refurb, since I actually don't need another Krark, since I have one, I think. They are a 10/10 now, so any bigger and I can't kill it with these two, but of course these guys will come in. Landscape can find another green source, so that's pretty good. I can also just play a Refurb to draw a card, and I can bargain it away to get rid of the Nyxborn Hydra. Yeah, that way they don't have Trample. Actually, maybe I should just get rid of the Makeshift at this point. I think that would have been better. I don't really need it. So no Trample means once I have this Hydra on this Chrysalis, I can race them and I can chump, and I shouldn't be in fear of dying. Sack this Landscape for our other green source. Get a Swamp, and let's bestow onto this guy. Give them a taste of their own medicine. 11, 12. Attack in. Put them to 9. And they concede. Alright. Got that one after a while. I think we're still fine. We do need to worry. We need to be wary of the Hollow with this Breath Weapon. That means we probably shouldn't save the Breath Weapon too long, to where they'd, like, if we can find an opening where they're tapped completely out of mana, especially colored mana, which is obviously where they're going to cast the White Splash, we should just take it, even if it might not get as much value as we'd like. If it can kill even just 2 or 3 creatures, I think it's probably going to be worth it there. I don't think Hollow is worth bringing in Duresses for. Of course, Duress is also good against Lead the Stampede and Winding Way, but also it can just whiff. Speaking of, I don't think we're getting rid of this hand. We need a couple more lands, but a Krark is amazing with the Toxin. Breath Weapon's obviously good. Cleansing Wildfire is not a bad draw, although this is really slow. If we get Masked Vandaled, we're going to be in a rough spot. They play a Birchlore. No other 1-drop and no land drop is really good for us. They're slow too, which is great because we're doing nothing on turn 2. Historically, our most important turn. It's the turn that can put us to 4 mana on turn 3 with the Wildfire. It can be a Krark Toxin turn. It can do a lot of stuff. So 2-drop Priest of Titania. Untapped lands. I would go for the Breath Weapon right here, but I think I just need to Cleansing Wildfire. I could cast down, but that doesn't really advance us. So we just need to hope we can not get into too bad of a spot here and hope to draw a land as well, but that's not going to happen here. Just get rid of this Hydra. We don't need it. They draw a land plus the Priest. Okay, this is a big turn. Start with a Vanguard. I can live with that. I can just cast it down later. Priest for 4 mana. Always a possibility I should have killed this, but I think I really need to get my 3rd land there. Looks like they're just going for a Hydra on the Vanguard right away. No, on the Sentinel. Okay. Which is going to keep it alive through the Breath Weapon, but if they just attack here, I can still swipe these 3. Sweep these 3, which isn't bad. Another Wildfire, but we're just going to take the 3 for 1 while we have the opportunity. We have another Priest. Of course, a Krark at any point is really good. I think this turn, if I don't draw anything specific, yeah, like that, I might just go Lembas Familiar. I know I'm taking damage here, but I can't really afford to just cleansing it. I could just play a Familiar and hold up a Toxin. That doesn't seem very good. Yeah, I think I gotta do this. Lembas looking for a land. Or a Krark. I don't think I can turn down a Krark, especially because we have the Toxin already, so most anything they do, I should be able to just wipe with the Krark next turn. We went for the Lembas over the Cleansing Wildfire, even though it wasn't guaranteed a land, because I needed the artifact for the Refurbished Familiar. Otherwise, I would have done the Wildfire, but they discarded Timberwatch Elf. That's not bad. Sentinel, mana neutral with the Priest, 4 mana. Gonna go with another Hydra. That'd be pretty baller. I could still just kill both Hydras, even after they fall off, with a double Krark activation. Looks like that's what they're doing. Okay, I can live with that. Cast down, so we're just going to Krark, Toxin Analysis, and trigger it twice. Well, activate it twice. So this will kill these 3, the Hydras will fall off, and they will both take another damage, which has Death Touch. And I will attack with this Familiar. Now with 2 cast downs and a Breath Weapon, I'm feeling real good. Especially when they're at 1 card in hand. It could be a Winding Way, or they could top deck a Winding Way, but it still seems like that's going to be pretty slow. And there's a Forest. And there's a Lead the Stampede. I mean, that's pretty good. Even better than the Winding Way with the Forest. 4 creatures, none of them super relevant, although the Hydra could be. Land is nice. I think that means we just want to go aggro and get down Chrysalis. And then we'll just sweep their blockers out of the way as they appear. Next turn I can cast down, maybe even just Breath Weapon if they get, I guess, Priest and Sentinel is probably what they're going to put down. Could cycle a Generosent first, but they might want the Generosent as a blocker, but no, they cycle it. Play the Forest and then go Priest. Yeah. Mountain. I will go with a Wildfire, see what I'm drawing here first. Get a second Forest. Troublemaker Roof is pretty good, although I don't really want this Hydra to land anyway. I guess we might as well just go for the Breath Weapon. We lose our Familiar, but I don't really think there's a way they can overcome this. And if they just run out of Hydra, then we can cast it down. All right, we got there. All right, round 5 here, and no creatures or very many permanents at all, but we're going to keep it. 3 lands, 3 colors, Spell Bomb, which we can, if it's not useful in the match, we can sacrifice with a Fanatical. Some interaction. Looks like it's going to be relevant because Bridge means probably either the Mirror or Grixis Affinity. Great Furnace speaks Affinity to me. So, Glaze Fiend, okay. In fact, it is Rakdos Affinity. I'm almost scared enough of this to just cast it down. They play, what? They play an artifact land, maybe a Blood Fountain, and then like a Wellspring, and I take 8? That seems bad. Kind of want a Cleansing Wildfire my land, though, or their land. But if they're Rakdos is my guess, probably more likely they have some basics. I think I might cast this down. I'm genuinely kind of terrified of it. Yeah, we'll just get rid of it. The turn 2 Glaze Fiend is scary. The card is not crazy good because it can be a top deck and then it's not great. But on turn 2, like, that guy's going to be a 2, 3, 4, 5 probably most turns, and sometimes an 8, 9. And that's bad. If you don't know, it gets +2/+2 every time you play an artifact, and it's an 0/1 flyer. They have the Fireweaver and a Jagged Barrens. Fireweaver being another one I was a little worried about, but that's okay. We got a Chrysalis. I'm just going to ramp here. Get a second green, I think, just so that I have the ability to bestow this Hydra pretty quickly if we want. Because I could see a world where we, like, play a Chrysalis, the following turn, if we've drawn a land, maybe 1 or 2 turns in a row, Hydra, and then we get, like, an Nyxborn, or rather, and then we get, like, a Toxin on it to gain, like, 9 life. Seems good. Vampire's Kiss, that pings us for 2. Yeah, this is like a burn affinity list, so we're going to want... There's the Blood Fountain. Hits for 2 as well. We're going to want Weather the Storms from our sideboard, I think, here. I haven't played a land, so they could have another Barrens. Or just a Bridge would be a Barrens, too. They don't, but they do just attack in. Krark is interesting. Almost makes me want to just play it and Toxin, wipe away the Fireweaver. But I think we'll wait at least 1 turn to do that, because we got this Chrysalis. I think we'll just play Chrysalis and then play a Wellspring. Since we're probably going to wipe the board anyway, might as well use the mana now. I don't think their graveyard... I mean, it's obviously going to be relevant because of the Blood Fountain, but I don't think they're going to crack it this turn, so I think I'm fine not putting down the Spellbomb. Toxin and Lembas are both really good, seeing as we're on a bit of a clock here. You could just have a Cast Down or something for the Chrysalis. They have a Mirror Enforcer, pings us for 1. And then another Vampire's Kiss pings us for 2. Or 4, rather, because this pings us for 2, and this pings us for 2. That's why we went so low so quickly. Another Chrysalis. Well, we gotta gain some life here. So I think we attack, and then I don't expect a block, and then we're gonna Krark, wipe the board, and then put down a Spellbomb so they can't get these back. So we'll gain 4 here. Also draw off of our Wellspring, up to 11. We got a land drop, which is nice. That's really nice, because that means we can play Lembas and Spellbomb. Cleansing Wildfire, I think I'm okay with that at this point, actually. Play a Spellbomb and pass. Alright, that means they have 2 cards plus their top deck, and then a bunch of blood tokens that I gotta worry about. There's a Reckoner's Bargain on a blood token, that's fine. Dross Forge Bridge, doesn't ping us anymore, and a Refurb, of course, annoying. We just kept this Cleansing, but I actually think I'm getting rid of it, because I want the card draw more. I want to play Chrysalis this turn, and next turn I might want a Nyxborn Hydra to try to race them. So I think that's the one that's gone. Slagwood Bridge isn't bad. So we're going to play Chrysalis, play a Bridge, leave up Clue, Lembas, Spellbomb, Fanatical. They have a Pact Altair. I should have probably seen that coming, but that is scary. Play a land, that triggers the Pact Stall. Okay, I think I am cracking this Lembas on the end step. Well, I could 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I could play this Hydra for 6 next turn. This would be a 10-10. That's not going to race fast enough. Not without lifelink. Let's crack this Spellbomb. Or I could just draw 2 off this Fanatical. Yeah, let's do that. That's better, I think. Draw, see what we're working with. Cast Down's good. We're going to use that on the Terror right away. We also might as well Fanatical right away here. Let's Fanatical the map. Kind of want everything else. Swamp's good. That lets us Cast Down. Don't really want to get in for 4 and lose 2. We have Fanatical up. We have Spellbomb. We have a little bit of everything up. Okay. We're going to pass here. We're not dead yet. Glad we saved this Spellbomb. I didn't want to use it, but I wasn't sure what else to do. But yeah, obviously the Offering was the better play there. They have an Offering of their own. So much better when their offerings and land drops don't ping us for a damage. There's a Mirror Enforcer. That's fine. We have a blocker for it right now. Map to try to make it big enough. Okay. Yeah, that grows it. With a Galvanic Blast, they definitely are going to keep that. Probably means I should take this end step if there's nothing else to do to crack my Lembas. I mean, I have a Clue or a Fanatical, but I guess I can just leave up Lembas for next turn. I don't want to get greedy, but we can just do it next turn. It's fine. We'll map token. Another Cast Down's good. We're going to sack this. A lot of swamp. Cast down's nice. I want a giant Hydra on this, but if we get a toxin analysis, we'll be able to do it in race, but until then, we're just not. I could just play a big one, but we have a lot of other things to do with our mana, so let's start with an Eviscerator's Insight on this map. Cleansing Wildfire. Let's cast down the Mirror Enforcer. That worked. Let's cleansing this. Get another basic. We have a Wellspring. We want to leave up 2 for our Clue or our Lembas especially. In fact, maybe I should just use Lembas now. Because if they already have a Galvanic in hand and they find like a Jagged Barons or something, then we might just die. Yeah, I think that's the safe play. Crack Lembas and pass. They might want to blood something away. No, they like all their cards. They're going to attack. I'll block. If they're just going for a Galvanic on this, I'm fine with that trade. Even if it does mean our Hydra doesn't do much. Yep, that's fine. I mean, our Hydra still does a lot. It's like a 10-10, which is still going to kill them pretty quickly. They Vampire's Kiss. We're down to 10. 1 card in hand. Okay, I think this is the time. Well, actually, we just got a Chrysalis, so this is going to have Summoning Sickness anyway, so I might as well just play the Chrysalis now, because I can make it bigger and everything. So let's start with a Wellspring. Toxin is a great draw. Let's play that Chrysalis. Play a Drawsforge Bridge, and now we'll pass. Next turn, we can go Hydra, Toxin. If they don't have like a cast down, we'll be in a good spot. They're going to blood away at Swamp, but they like what they drew. It's some Munitions. That's pretty good. And a Refurb. Let's draw a card off our Clue first. But I like that they're going to have no cards in hand. That shows that we should be okay. Crack a Clue, and I might as well cycle this too. Refurb of our own. Don't think we need this Krark, so let's just get rid of it. Bojuka Bog is a great draw. I mean, well, it's a good draw. It's a land drop, and it lets us use our Spellbomb later. So I think we just go with... There's not really a reason to play a Familiar that just dies. We want to gain as much life as possible. So let's just... Everything but 1 into here. 7. That can gain us 11 with the Toxin, which helps, puts us out of range of the Munitions by quite a lot. We'll exile their graveyard, and we'll pass. Discard a Blood Fountain to a Blood. They swing for 2. And I guess we might as well draw a bunch of cards before combat to see if we find our other Nyxborn Hydra and can deal the extra 2 damage. But they'll just scoop when they see the Familiar. So we get Troublemaker Oofs and Weather the Storm. Yeah, life gain just feels good. And Duress seems solid too. Krark honestly is pretty good. 1, the Toxin, it's nice to have another way to get a bunch of life. But it's also good against Pact Altair, Mirror Enforcer, and Reckless Fireweaver. Not so much Glaze Fiend or Refurbished Familiar, but I think that's okay. Munitions doesn't seem amazing. And not the Lembas, but we'll cut like an Eviscerator's Insight, maybe a Wellspring, a Blood Fountain, Hydra. A lot of these I feel like we only need 1 of. In fact, maybe the Krarks we only need 1 of. Feels like it's going to be hard to make 3 more cuts. Do I need Duresses? I mean, what's it going to take? A Blood Fountain, a Galvanic Blast, Makeshift Munitions. I actually don't know if I need these that much. I mean, they're going to bring in, what, Casting of the Fires? It's not bad, but I think the cast downs are more important to hit their key creatures. I'm already cutting, like trimming a lot of our various things, but it's like I don't want to get rid of all our Blood Fountains, all our Hydras. Spellbombs seem pretty good, so I think we'll just do that. This hand looks solid except for the 1 land nature of it, but that's going to prevent us from keeping it. This one's not amazing, but I think we got to keep it. No removal. I think Weather's our weakest card here. Only 1 artifact land. It's not a very good hand, but it's like just on the edge, where I don't really want to get rid of it on 6. They mulligan to 5 though, and seems like they're thinking about going lower, but they keep a 5. Forest is a great draw that makes Chrysalis online. That's about it. Maybe we would have preferred a bridge with green in it, but they got a Glaze Fiend, but missing 2 cards in their hand, it makes it a lot less scary. We got a Spellbomb. Still doesn't let us play the Familiar this turn. I want to save the Bojuka Bog, but I think this is the turn to play it, because next turn we might want to go with like a Familiar, hold up a Toxin. The following turn we might want to do a Chrysalis. I'm just going to play it. Play out our spell bomb. I mean, we have the spell bomb too, so it's not a big deal. But yeah, like if we play the familiar for 2 mana, hold up a Chrysalis in case they make this like a 6/7 or whatever, then we can at least trade them, which is nice. They have another Glaze Fiend. Okay, that's kind of scary. They're really, really scary in multiples. We get a bridge. That's not bad actually, because it lets us play. Still lets us play familiar and toxin. We take one of their 3 cards, which is nice. Which is a refurb. That's pretty good. That means their last 2 cards have to be very strong. There's a land, so they get buffed. I'm assuming a Blood Fountain or a Vampire's Kiss is coming. Just another refurb, okay. I will get rid of our mountain. Good news is if they kind of go all in on the Glaze Fiends this turn, then they might not have enough to pump them up very much the following turn. Galvanic Blast. Okay, that's bad. Because that just means we can't Toxin, so we're going to take 8. We do get Chrysalis next turn, and they're out of cards, which is good. Question is, do I want to crack this Spell Bomb for an extra card? I kind of do. It means if these all die, they can Blood Fountain them back, but these aren't that big of a deal to Blood Fountain back. I think we do want that extra card. Maybe a Breath Weapon would have been good. I guess these are the only creatures it hits, because Enforcer, Pact Altair, and Reckless Fireweaver are not going to die to it, so here it would look good, but actually it's not great in general. Lembas is not bad, because we actually get to play that off our spawn. Since they have no blocking, no ground creatures right now, I don't mind just sacking these to dig for something. Don't need a land. Another Lembas is not bad. Alright. Even if they get like a Vampire's Kiss off the top, these only become 4/5s. Well, that makes these lethal. But I can block and not die is what I was going to say, but that would still be really good for them. But if they don't get anything, they attack. I assume that means they got a Galvanic Blast, so these will trade. But I don't think I can just take 2 damage. Actually, with this Toxin Analysis, I'd want to... Gaining 4 feels pretty good, so I guess we are just going to take 2. Bridge. If they just top deck another Galvanic and they have double Galvanic on us and we die because we don't sack this Lembas here, I think I'm okay with that. I don't think I'm going to sack it right away, because I think I want to get down this Cleansing Wildfire. I guess, what are we doing for a green? Oh, Troublemaker, oof. We get a familiar, I'd like to play that, though. We actually have more hits on a familiar. So I guess we'll do this. Cleansing Wildfire, get another swamp. We get a swamp. I guess that means I can sack the Lembas and hold up Toxin so I don't die. Okay, I could sack the Lembas, or rather I could play the other Lembas, but I might as well sack this one since we're not going to probably be able to do anything with what we get anyway. And then this turn, if they go for just this attack, I probably will block and Toxin. Fanatical Offering, a Great Furnace. Okay, that triggers the Glaze Fiends. Attack with the crew, just the Glaze Fiends. Okay, well, this is always 2 power, so I still feel like blocking this probably makes the most sense. Although these have the more burst potential. I don't know, we're going to block here. We're going to gain 4 life off of it, especially since I'm expecting our only creature to die. Might as well get the value out of the Toxin while we can. So we stay at 11. There's the Galvanic Blast. Cast down's not bad. Let's just start with a Lembas. Another Lembas, I think we'll take that. Play another Lembas. I will keep a Fanatical, and we're just going to hold up Cast Down and Lembas. If they make these... I think if they grow them pretty much at all, we'll just cast one down. Certainly if they do a Vampire's Kiss, we're going to make their triggers easier. Because this is already going to put us to, what, 5? Yeah. Troublemaker Oof is a really good draw. So I think I'm going to sack a land here. It's the Fanatical. Refurb's really good. Play that. Take a card. It's a Pact Altair. Bargain this map. Get rid of the Glaze Fiend. And I'll crack a Lembas just on the off chance they have Burn. Like, I don't know, a Bump in the Night or something weird plus a Bolt. They have a Mirror Enforcer. Okay. Krark is decent. Let's just crack a Clue. Writhing Chrysalis is great. Very nice. Play that. So now we can fly over for 2. I want to save this landscape because we are running out of things to do with our mana. I think in case they have the Galvanic, I want to make this a 4/5 before they have the mana for it, which means I can crack this Lembas. I have a Darksteel Citadel. They can map up the Mirror Enforcer, but we do still have enough to trade for it. Cursed Marauder, what an interesting, I'm assuming sideboard card. So if I sack the Oof and then they map and don't hit a land, they actually can attack for 5. So I think for that reason we're gonna sack the Familiar. I think I just need to survive and we're gonna be okay. There's the map. Yep, and they get a refurb on the top. That's pretty good. But I will block if they attack. They don't. Cleansing Wildfire is pretty good. I could hit them, make them lose an artifact, and shuffle away the refurb. But I do still have a Nyxborn Hydra in my deck, and every land I get's pretty good. I guess we discarded 1 earlier, so we only have 2 left. Yeah, I think Refurb's one of their better hits, because we do have Reach, but we don't have anything else, and if we trade this, we're not gonna have Reach, so I'm gonna blow up their one destructible land. They probably have some basics, I would guess. They do. There's a swamp. Alright. I think we'll just play the Krark. It's not a big deal if they want to like shoot it. And maybe I just sack it to a Fanatical. Maybe it just makes it more of a pain for them. They drew a refurb anyway. Well, that's not what was supposed to happen. Okay. Annoying. I guess I'll sack this Krark because I don't think it's doing us much good. Drew 2 good cards, so we will still just discard the landscape, but obviously if I drew like just any random land there, I would have discarded that. Another landscape. Let's Fanatical the map token. Refurb's good, that draws us a card, and it gives us a blocker for this. Another swamp. Let's Eviscerators the map. Weather the Storm, I mean, we cast a lot of spells, so I think we will just go for a nice 12 bomb there. Comfortably at 23 now. They just got a tap land, no attacks. So this is why we saved the landscape. Or rather, I guess this is a different landscape because we discarded the other one. Draw a card. Wellspring is not bad. Play that. Cast down's pretty good. That means we can actually start attacking. Okay. Cast down the Mirror Enforcer, and now we can race really well. 8 damage, gonna kill them in 3 turns. They can trade if they want. We also have a Weather the Storm, and I don't see any sequence of draws that would deal us 23 damage here. Fanatical's a nice start, though. Duress, they can take a Weather. Spell Bomb is fine. I don't think we're going to need Blood Fountain at this point. Another Chrysalis. If I play this, so let me play this Swamp so that when I play this Chrysalis, even if they go for a Spell Bomb in response, I can still crack the Eviscerator's Insight. Attack with the team. I'll block here. We'll deal them a bunch of damage, and we'll pass. We're going to Blood away a Vampire's Kiss. They're going to crack that Spell Bomb. We're going to Eviscerator's Insight the Wellspring in response. And they got a Mirror Enforcer and a map token onto it, but that's not going to keep them alive. All right, and we got the trophy, which is pretty sick. Well, Magic Online messed with my nice little piles, so this is what you get to see now. But yeah, so we got a trophy. Like I mentioned, I only played the deck 2 times before this in the past like month, and both of them were 4-1s, pretty close to trophies. This is just consistently the deck that I do the best with. I think it's just consistently the best deck that I play. Other than this, I mostly play Black Sack, which is decent, White Weenies, which is sometimes okay, and Glintblade maybe, and that one's never amazing. But yeah, this deck is just still really good. If you were worried about it falling off because of no Deadly Dispute, don't worry, it's still just killer. I realize now that the previous videos I put up with this deck were all trophies because I was proud that I got a few trophies with it, and now it's just going to look like I only put up trophies with this deck. But to be honest, this is the deck I've trophied with more than any other deck, so sometimes I lose some matches, but the deck's just really freaking good, dude. So definitely give it a try if you're interested in playing a good deck. Thank you so much to my patrons. You make it possible for me to keep putting out these videos, especially my $10 patron, Howard Granger. I really appreciate the support. I will see you all next time.